Donald Trump is also facing criticism from the right after he refused Wednesday night to say whether he will accept the results of the presidential election. He said he wanted to keep voters in suspense. But campaigning in Ohio hours after the debate, Trump said that he would accept the outcome under one condition.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to make a major announcement today. I would like to promise and pledge to all of my voters and supporters, and to all of the people of the United States, that I will totally accept the results of this great and historic presidential election if I win. We want fairness in the election. This is having nothing to do with me, but having to do with the future of our country. We have to have fairness. John Podesta, Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman, was quoted in WikiLeaks as saying, illegal immigrants could vote as long as they have their driver's license. What I'm saying is, don't be naive, folks. Don't be naive.
Azy Pabra is senior writer for Politico here in New York City. Good to see you, Azy. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So Trump seemed to make somewhat of a joke out of this issue, but are there serious implications here?
Oh, there are serious implications for this election, and there are serious implications for a major party candidate to question in advance the outcome of an American election.
And what are those implications?
The implications are it's undermining the legitimacy of the elections, not just here in the States, but around the world. Countries look to America when they think about how democracy should run, and Donald Trump is calling that into question. Now, we've seen what happens to the federal government when there is stalemate. Barack Obama faced historic opposition from Republicans, largely Tea Party caucus. Imagine the kind of opposition a Hillary Clinton presidency would face on day one if there was a portion of the American public that thinks she's not legitimate because an election was quote unquote rigged.
Any other implications that you can think of?
I mean, this doesn't end on November 8th. This actually starts on November 8th. Does Donald Trump ignite a civil war within the Republican Party? Establishment and this sort of outrage.
Isn't there already one? I think some would argue that.
Right, there is, and he's threatening to sort of, take it even further. But his remarks about not accepting the election and I'll keep you in suspense, these are the clearest demonstrations that Donald Trump, he's not really campaigning to win. He's not really campaigning, for other Republicans even. He's really, he's proving his idea that campaigning is entertaining. He thinks crowd management is voter contact, and he thinks one-liners are policy speeches. And it's sort of remarkable. We've never seen this in an American election before.
And this talk about voter fraud is something that he took even before this debate and then reiterated that as well. Instead of trying to get, it seems to me like he's not even trying to get new votes at this point.
No, he's literally trying to keep engaged the angry, outraged supporters that he has that need to be fed and need to be entertained and need to be given another reason to go out and be engaged in this election. Hillary Clinton supporters have the challenge of being energized, of being motivated to vote. They think it's in the bag. They think all the polls are going in their favor. Why show up? I can do something else with my hour. Somebody else will vote in the way that I want. And that's where you get sort of, Dewey defeats Truman sort of like headlines. And but what Donald Trump is unwittingly doing is helping bring to the foreground a real conversation about voter access. New York is a place that does not have early voting. There's questions about why. Mayor Bill de Blasio has said that we need that. There's questions about how can we better keep records so that people, when they pass away, they're expunged from the rolls and we don't have that kind of lingering issue. There's questions about identification, and that is a very big issue. But Donald Trump is bringing these questions to the foreground, and I don't know if he's going to be happy with the results that come out of it.
So maybe, he's saying that it's rigged, but in reality, we should maybe step back and see how we can improve it.
Right. There's always room for improvement. And of course, Democrats were very much upset when the Supreme Court rolled back some civil rights protection as it relates to voting. I don't know if Donald Trump and his supporters are going to like what happens not only on November 8th, But after November 8th, when a Clinton presidency says we're going to take that issue of voter access and we're going to take it further. Just imagine what it's going to be like in that administration.
Back to President Obama today. He called Trump's election rigging talk no joking matter, and he actually had an extended attack on Republicans who still stand by Trump.
Right.
I'll go take a listen.
Why would it take this long for Republican senators and Republican congressmen? Why would it take you this long to figure out that Donald Trump shouldn't be president? If you've made a career of idolizing Ronald Reagan, then where were you when your party's nominee for president was kissing up to Vladimir Putin, the former KGB officer?
So suddenly, Ozzy, it seems like Donald Trump, the way that President Obama was explaining it there, is no longer on the island here by himself,
right,
but rather they're all on the island together.
Right. That's a great way to put it. It's long been a campaign tactic to sort of link your opponent to someone unpopular. And for Republicans, the unpopular person is at the top of your ticket. And as we know, in presidential years, yes, all politics are local, but a lot of it gets dictated, and the framework for that local politics gets established at the top of the ticket. Any Democrat that wants to win this year just points across the aisle and say, you're with Donald Trump.
We are talking too as well about the states that Hillary Clinton is now targeting, states that maybe at the beginning of this election she didn't think she may have had a chance, and now suddenly she is in some of those states. Smart move?
It is for this election, but there is a potential for sort of buyer's remorse or a concern 2 years from now when you have congressional races without a presidential candidate. The gains that Democrats are able to make against Donald Trump, I don't know if you'll be able to sustain those in 4 years or even 2 years. Imagine what Democrats would be facing if the opponent was a Mitt Romney this year. Someone who didn't have an Access Hollywood tape, someone who didn't have women accusing him of sexual assault. This could be a very different election map. So the gains that Hillary can make against Trump, I don't know how sustainable they will be 2 and 4 years from now.
All right. 71.6 million people watched the debate, the third and final debate, really the last time that we could see these candidates go head to head, right? What do we expect now? I mean, what do you foresee here up until Election Day?
Well, first thing is the Alfred E. Smith dinner, where the candidates, by tradition, sort of poke fun at each other in a smart, amusing, lighthearted way that gives everyone a moment to relax.
And these two candidates don't even shake hands.
Isn't that remarkable?
Yes. So how is that going to go over?
It's really signaling that there are some lines you shouldn't cross, that there's that you delegitimize yourself when you heighten and expose and sort of trumpet conspiracy theories that have long been debunked. You know, there's a consequence for saying things just to get a laugh in a campaign season. And Hillary Clinton refusing to shake Donald Trump's hand, I think, is a signal to that. And it also elevates the status of people like Paul Ryan, who have consistently come out and said, I'm doing something to help my party, not support the party nominee, but I can't excuse the behavior, and I can't excuse the recent comments, and I can't excuse what he's doing in this election. So it's creating a conversation about what it means to be an elected official and a public servant.
Don't you think this will be a bit awkward, though, tonight at that dinner? I mean, awkward, right?
I mean, Trump is a master at making things awkward. And for Hillary Clinton, you just sort of shrug and laugh it off and say, this is what I've been running against. I think it's easy for people, if you're mature, to sort of make light of an awkward situation. And the Alfred E. Smith dinners are famous for laughs. So hopefully... Yes. Hopefully everyone will be able to take something away from this.
Oh, well, it's nice to have Cardinal Dolan sitting in between them. So,
if he can't keep the peace, we're all in a lot of trouble.
He's pretty effective at that.
And if he's not, former NYPD Commissioner Ray Kelly is sitting right behind him.
There we go. There we go.
Who else better to keep everyone at peace?
Don't mess with the former commissioner.
No.
All right, Ozzy Piebrough, thanks so much. It was a great discussion.
Thanks for having me.